Okay, we are going to talk deck building here for a minute. And you see the neighbor has built a deck over here. And if you look at it, it has 3 4x4 posts coming up from pier blocks on the edge of an old concrete pad. And that's fine. But the problem is that the posts come up through the framing of the deck, and there is no beam on top of the posts to support the deck. And what they are doing to support the deck is putting, they have a 2x10 on the end, and about 3 screws or nails going through the 2x10 into each 4x4 post. And so the problem is that there is no shear strength. There's no half-inch bolt or anything holding things together, and they really need to redo this deck here to get proper support under it. So it should have a beam on top of the posts, and then the rafters of the deck lay over the beam to support it, and then they would have some H1 clips holding the joists to the beam, and some metal brackets holding the posts to the beam. And but yeah, this is actually kind of a dangerous situation, because with only 9 screws holding the end joist between 3 posts, if you get 8 or 10 people partying on that deck, if they all come out, stand on the end, that's like 1,000, 1,500, maybe 2,000 pounds of people out there. And if they start doing, say, like we start dancing, that's going to have some surges in weight from people bouncing around. And so anyway, this deck should have a beam under the joists, and the end joist there that's holding up all of the other joists coming off of the house, that's just not the way you do it. I do like the hog wire fence though, and if you do look at the railing on the stairs, you can see that they have the hog wire fencing on that, but it's the horizontal hog wire, and they could have gotten the 45-degree hog wire that's designed to go down stairways, and then you would have the horizontal vertical wires instead of the wires looking on the diamond pattern. They would match up better. So okay, I think I lost you there for a second. So anyway, there is the view of the hog wire on the stairway there. And yeah, anyway, there is your deck safety tip for the day. Put a beam under the deck, and then also make sure you have ample bolts bolting the ledger to the house, and then use Simpson or equivalent joist hangers. Okay. This is a deck designed by an architect. Notice the beams are under the joists. There's a lot of metal connectors going on and blocking to hold the joists stable. Take a look. So we have the deck is all hooked up today. All the joists are on, and we're going to put some AZEK decking on here. Let me show you the deck ties. These are the deck ties. So that has a 18-inch by half-inch all thread on it. And then we had to build out the web of the truss joists 7/8 of an inch on both sides. Our lumberyard did not have any 7/8 plywood, so what we did is we got a sheet of 3/8 and a sheet of 1/2 inch. And that gives us effectively a 7/8 piece of plywood. Okay, so we have our end beam on here now. And we've got our beam in there is on. We have about an 18-inch overhang. See me here? There, hey, there's a creative shot for you. So I am looking at the deck with my phone while using the GoPro to video record it. Okay, so we have effectively about 15-foot deck joists coming across two 4x10 beams, all treated lumber. We have the AC post caps, 4x6 post cap on both sides, and down at the bottom we have the ABU 4/6 post base on all of the post bases. And then over here we have a doubled joist here, and that is because the deck changes to an 8-foot depth on this side, and so the joist here nails into the end of that 8-foot joist on the side. So then there's what the top of the deck looks like. Let's see if I can level that. So there you see the 8-foot sistered up against the 16-foot joist. And you can see the two 4x10 beams and all the 24 by 24 by 12 footings. And then over here you see the 1/2 inch deck lock bolts. There is our galvanized flashing Z-flash that comes over the rim joist and deflects water away from it. We've got our Tyvek all along here. So this is all coming along very nicely. So the original plan called for 4x4 posts coming up through the framing of the deck, so the posts would be in the deck, not outside of the perimeter of the deck. And that was later changed to putting in an aluminum railing with glass panels. Now this is the deck finished framing underneath there. You see the blocking between the joists and the H1 hurricane clips that hold the joists down to the beams. And these are the new skirt boards, 1/2 by 12 AZEK, $150 each. We have them attached with stainless steel fasteners. So yeah, everything is looking great. So the footings under the deck and the beams. And you can see how we have the joists set up here for the perimeter board. But you see we have a rim joist here, inch gap, and then a rim board here, and the second 2x4 here, or 2x8. So 2x8, 2x8, 1-inch gap, and rim joist. And that's how we support the border piece. And then this one here Nothing special, that just goes over the end rim joist. Okay, to recap, what we're talking about is this ledger board here at the end of the deck. You've got 3 posts on 12 by 12 footings, and the posts come up from the blocks through the deck framing, and there is no beam supporting under the deck and being supported by the posts. So what you have effectively is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screws in the ledger to hold up all that weight. So what they have done is to add these pieces of 2x4, which have 2, 4, 6 screws in each of them, but that's just not really a good way to support a deck. You want to have a deck, you want to have posts with a beam on top of the posts with metal connectors, and then the joists rest on top of the post. And the condition that you have with this is you see here's 1, 2, 3 joists between each post. So you've got 3 or so, maybe 4 joists that are bolted to this ledger, 4 here, 4 there, so a total of 8 more joists, and there's only a handful of screws, no significant metal like a 1/2-inch bolt holding these. And for code compliance, a bolt through a ledger and a beam does not pass code. You have to have the post coming up to a beam, and then a beam with the joists riding on top of that, and then you want to have some metal connectors like H1 connectors from the joists to the beam so that everything is solidly connected. And then if your joists are 10 feet or longer, then you also need to add blocking somewhere halfway through the span, and that's to keep the joists from folding over. Now, I realize that that's kind of an unlikely thing, but apparently it has happened, and that's why code says to put blocking in if you have a span greater than 10 feet. So anyway, that is a recap on what makes this deck unsafe. You've got, let's say, each of those joists weighs 30 pounds, so you've got 8 or 10 joists here, so we'll just call it half of 300 pounds is resting on this, and then you add on the weight of this Trex decking, and Trex is not, those composite deckings are not light, they're actually pretty heavy, and so that can add another 400 pounds of weight onto what this end joist is trying to support. And then you start getting, say there's a party going on at the house, you can get 8 or 10 people out there. Well, you know, people today are getting kind of on the big side, so we're going to average them out at 200 pounds each, and 10 people is 2,000 pounds. And if they're all standing out here watching somebody doing something out in the yard, you've got 2,000 pounds plus the weight of the deck material, and what can happen is that there's just not enough shearing strength in the screws that are holding this ledger and all the joists up, and what's going to happen is they're just going to give way and slide down. Okay, so that was a little dramatization there with the change in the screen. My click, my bad. So anyway, that's a recap on what can happen is that you get enough weight out here on top of what the deck itself weighs, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Something bad can happen. This end ledger with only a few screws in it can just shoot right on down to the ground, and you know, when a trap door falls out from under you, you cannot respond fast enough. Okay, so that is my video on the difference between a safe deck and an unsafe deck. Hope this video helps you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. And here's a little clip showing the final product of the deck I'm using as a comparison, and also some of the house connected to that deck that we built. And it's a pretty nice project. There's over 100 videos on it. Take time to take a watch through a few of them. All right, bye-bye. So we have a nice little breakfast nook here. Deck doors that open up onto the deck. And then the seat has a radiator underneath it, and that keeps you warm sitting here. Warm air comes out through the screen. So it's a very nice kitchen nook, and you can sit here. You can look out the window or back into the kitchen or out on the deck. So it's a very, very convenient place to sit, and it's got a cool light fixture on it too. Okay, so that is pretty much our tour of the house, fully completed. And the whole point of doing this was to get this huge kitchen family great room concept. Okay, and so remember that this entire project has been documented. You can watch all the videos from demolition of the original structure to the completion of this. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed following along the project. Please do subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.